Well, it's game 2, and the Lakers did what they had to do. Let's get stuck into it. Joe Money McCarr, how did the Lakers get a game 2? How did they get the W?
So today the Lakers played well, but the win didn't come as easy. We saw the Heat put up a little bit more of a fight, but there were a ton of positive points for the Lakers today, and it really branded Anthony finished with 32 points, 14 rebounds on a very efficient 15 of 20 shooting. At one point, I believe he was 13 of 14, something like that. Crazy efficient from the field. And we've seen that without Bam Adebayo, the Lakers have just been getting whatever they want in the paint. And it's just been really tough to stop them. We saw LeBron today, I believe it was 33 points, 9 rebounds, 9 assists, so a near triple-double. Those two are always on their game, and especially when they're combining for 65 points. We know the Lakers are going to be tough to stop. But I feel like the whole narrative should be about the Lakers is the production they're getting from their bench players, and just their supporting cast in general. So Dwight, we saw at the beginning of the game, Dwight just came in, provided a ton of energy, and really seemed to be that little spark they needed, the energizer to boost their lineup. And then Rondo comes in off the bench, 16 points, and I believe 10 assists. And Rondo has shown that he's really capable of making threes, especially in postseason. And I guess if you're the Heat, this isn't necessarily something you game plan for, but you decide, oh, do I live with it, or do I go out to the perimeter and guard him and then fear that one of these two stars is going to get a better look in the paint? So with that, the adjustments have not been easy for the Heat to make, especially they were down Dragic today. They were down Bam Adebayo, who's the heart and soul of their defense, and Dragic, who's pretty much one of their main scorers at pretty much under 20 points a game, 19.9 about. So with that being said, the Lakers cruised to a 2-0 lead and are now 2 games away from the title.
Nick, can the Heat get anything out of this series?
Well, I think they certainly got a lot more out of this game than I think a lot of people expected to start things off. I think when we saw that, it was confirmed that both Bam Adebayo and Goran Dragic would miss this game, everyone was thinking, okay, are we looking at a 40-point, 50-point loss? What's going to happen here? But to the Heat's credit, I think they fought really hard. They made things tough for LA, like Joe said. Obviously, in terms of the starting lineup changes, we had Leonard come in with the start at centre, but he didn't see any time after his early 9 minutes. Really, who stepped in there was Kelly Olynyk, who I thought, although he has pretty major shortcomings on the defensive end, his lateral quickness and, sort of shot blocking ability doesn't exist too much. But he still gave them 24 points and 9 boards and really kept things afloat for Miami as they were looking for other sources of offense. And then with Dragic out, Tyler Hero became the youngest player to start in an NBA Finals game. And although he probably didn't have his best shooting night, he had 17 points and 5 of 12 shooting. I just thought he looked a lot more comfortable after he looked pretty tentative and rattled in his first finals game in game 1. And I thought he belonged a lot more. Probably on the flip side of that, when we're talking about sort of Miami's younger shooters, Duncan Robinson looked really lost out there for the second game in a row. He only had the 9 points, but a bad shooting night, 4 fouls, and he finished he just didn't look really comfortable out there as much as Hero looked comfortable, really sort of the yin and yang on both ends of the scale there for the Heat. But yeah, the Miami did a great job hanging around, I thought. Butler was really good from the start. Not a huge scoring night with only 25 points, but he had 13 assists and 8 boards and really tried to galvanize his Heat team as they looked for a very improbable win where no one thought they had a chance. Kendrick Nunn's minutes off the bench weren't too bad. He had 13 points as well in a night where a lot of other Heat players had to step up. Probably one of the biggest killers for Miami, though, tonight, where they got really destroyed on the offensive glass. They gave away a lot of second chance points, which is a killer when you started making comebacks like they did with that massive third quarter there where they scored 39 points. Just those offensive rebounds and giving up second chance points is such a gut punch after you're working really hard to try to claw back a massive lead. They also got to the free throw line a lot more after they didn't really get there at all. They only had 14 free throw attempts. In that first game, they got there on 34 free throw attempts, so a massive discrepancy there, and they only missed 3. So that was another thing that kept them in the game. But yeah, as Joe said, it was really hard to stop Davis tonight, even LeBron as well. With how the Heat defended, it meant that they gave up a lot of points in the paint, 56 to be exact for the Lakers there. And the scoreline probably would have been a lot worse if the Lakers had shot better from three as well. They put up an NBA Finals record in attempts of 47 tries from downtown and only made 16 of them. So if they'd converted on any a greater percentage of those, the scoreline probably wouldn't have been as flattering for Miami. But credit to the Heat. They've certainly fought to try and make it a bit more of a battle, but all things are pointing towards a pretty quick series win for the Lakers.
Well, I guess I've got nothing else to really add. There's no Joe Harris references I can really make here. So we'll be back for Game 3, guys. Subscribe on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, all streaming platforms, and we'll be back for Game 3.